Hey, happy Tuesday, BIC fam. Last week, we talked about being a city on a hill. And if that's something that you take seriously, first of all, I just want to say I'm proud of you, and it's an honor to serve Jesus with you. When I was trying to be a light in some of those dark settings, some inspiration that I tried to remind myself of was just how often Jesus chose me. When he chose to go and teach and have all of those big events where he was leading so many, he was doing that for people who, like me, wanted to follow him. When he decided that he was going to allow himself to be taken into custody, to be tortured, to be killed, he made all those choices so that people like me could join him in heaven someday. After he was killed, he decided to come back and reveal himself, give us one more lesson to show us just how great our King really is. Obviously, none of those choices that he made for me, for people like me, were easy. Jesus suffered more than any man in history. He chose that for people like me. He chose that for me. He could have taken days off. He could have chosen not to teach on some days. Those gospel books could be a whole lot shorter, but instead he chose me. He could have stopped his arrest. In fact, the people around him tried to stop the arrest, and he wouldn't let them. He could have chosen not to endure the beatings and the torture and the murder that he faced. He's God's son. He's King of the world. He could have stopped any of those things, but he chose not to. He chose me. He could have just chosen to go back to heaven after, he was killed. And no, he chose to come back to show that he is who he says he is, that he does what he said he's going to do, and that he is all powerful. He had all those choices, and he chose me. I have a lot of choices, and I'm going to choose him.